What's up, guys? Yeah, I think this is recording. This is just a little, I don't know, spiritual granola bar for your guys' discipleship relationships. Haven't written to you guys or reached out to you guys in, oh, wow, probably since before Pastor Bill left, and things had gotten pretty busy once he left for me. But yeah, now that Pastor Dave's back and new season, and I don't know, I think today is a day where I usually take some time to think about discipleship and just whatever we can do to encourage and strengthen that in our church family. So I thought I'd make a video for you guys and send you guys some stuff. I'm going to put a couple things in the mail for you today, just some spiritual granola bars to strengthen, your discipleship relationship. So I'll send this out to Fred, to Josh, to Bob and Steven, and then to Respect. And there's only three discipleship I shouldn't say only, but there's three discipleship relationships going on at our church right now. And that's Bob and Steven, Fred and Josh. Both you guys are in year 2. Respect and I are in year 1 together. So yeah, hopefully this will be encouraging to you. The first thing I sent you guys is this little thing. I'm gonna put that up on the screen and just kind of talk briefly about that, if I can put it up on the screen. Let's see. Let's export it as a PDF and put it up on the main screen here. Okay. Take you to my desktop. Here we go. That's my little baby. Isn't she cute? Yeah. Okay, let's do full screen mode. Yeah, so this is, you guys have this sheet that I sent you. And these are all Christian practices that promote spiritual maturity. Each one of them contributes in their own way. It's kind of like working out, or training as an athlete. You have to train your arms, you have to train your lungs, you have to train your legs, you have to train your mind, you have to review the game footage, all these different things that you have to do to get strong as an athlete. Well, it's the same in the spiritual life. Our relationship with Jesus is primary, and as a part of that relationship, in John 15, he said, you have to obey my commands because they're important. If you stay in touch with me, if my words stay in touch with you, and if you obey my commands, he said, then, hey, you're going to produce fruit, you're going to get stronger, my love relationship with you will stay fresh, my joy will be in you and will be growing, all those promises he made in John 15, and the commands and these command practices are a part of it. Well, as you can see, there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 activities that every Christian should seek to put into their life. And as you'll see, discipling is only one of those 11 activities, and there could be more too on this list. But all of the commands represent different activities that will help promote our spiritual growth. But yeah, singing and worship, I'm sure all of you guys are involved in that, hopefully through your big group fellowship Sundays. Prayer, both privately and then corporately, we do in the big group fellowship, and then privately on your own. Teaching, that's we're called to teach one another, and some of us are gifted to be Bible teachers, and we especially need to focus on that. But even if we're not Bible teachers, we can all teach each other the practical parts, how what it means to live and follow Jesus, the commands he gave us. So teaching one another, admonishing, that means to urge each other strongly. Hey, keep going in your walk with God. Hey, keep loving others. Keep fighting to throw off stuff weighing you down. All those phrases in Scripture we see. Run the race that's in front of you. Throw off the stuff that weighs you down. All of them in that voice of urging. And that's the voice we're supposed to bring to each other as well, urging each other towards things that are good. Then this discipling activity, and obviously you'd think, well, that'd be the one you should be talking about in this video. But I want you to see it's just one of many activities that are a part of producing spiritually mature Christians. Taking communion. Hope you haven't given up on that. That's the first Sunday every month. Hopefully you're in the sanctuary so you can do that. It's an important activity. It will make you spiritually stronger. And if you don't feel it happening, it's okay. Do it. Okay. Evangelism, that's always being prepared to share our faith, to give an answer, Colossians 3:15. Fellowship, don't give up meeting together with one another. Big group fellowship and nurturing fellowship. Being cared for by a pastor. I hope each of you has a primary care pastor that's looking out for you. Um, I know that Josh and Respect do. Stephen, I hope Pastor Key is looking out for you. Bob and Fred, I hope you guys recruit somebody to be a spiritual authority for you, someone to proactively keep tabs on you and speak into your life. Every Christian needs that, and I've got one. I recruited an old pastor of my wife's to do that for me now that I'm here at a church where that's not set up for me to have a pastor. But it's something we all need, Ephesians 4, through every season of our life. Encouraging one another, boy, we need that one. And then loving one another, extending warmth and interest in one another. So, okay, yeah, as I wanted you to see, discipling is just one of those activities. It's just one. And it, again, contributes to making us spiritually strong and mature. So I want to encourage you, keep up your discipling relationships with each other. That's great. It's contributing to your spiritual growth, whether you're the older one in the relationship or the younger one. And it is something that's on Jesus' heart for us, something he wants all of us to either be actively doing or seeking to be available for when he gives us an opportunity to. So, all right, that's that form, and now we can go to the next sheet that you've got, and I'll just give you some fresh fire and some encouragement with that. This sheet, this second sheet that I sent you guys, this is all just about discipling. Okay, it's not about singing, because you guys already know what singing is, and urging one another and encouraging one another. This is all just about that action, discipling. Discipling is a very simple action that just involves doing two things with one other person for a year or two. It's two things. It's all it is. You don't have to sing songs. That's singing. It's you don't take communion together. That's communion. It's just two activities that make up this word matheytevein. That's the Greek word Jesus used. And he said, "Go and mathetevo all the people." And then later Newton Acts and the epistle said, "Hey, preach the gospel to people." That's evangelism. Then mathetevo him and get him in a church family, with pastors and elders and all members of the body of Christ. You guys can do all these activities together. But yeah, mathetevoing, he said, go and mathetevo one another. And that is on that sheet that I gave you guys. And let's see. I'm going to PDFify it here on my screen. So just give me a minute and then I can pull it up pretty easy. There it is. Okay. Let me pull that up. Yeah. And the other side is uncluttered. So I like the uncluttered side first. And these two actions here are all that it means to disciple somebody. Disciple somebody, it's what an older or more experienced Christian does is for a younger Christian. And you just take your life and kind of smush it together to theirs for a year or two. And that's the first part, sharing life in the green. Okay? In the more detailed version, I've got examples of sharing life together, washing a car together, going for walks together. Hopefully you guys do some of this stuff. Cooking food together, get groceries together, eat meals together, do work together, serve others together, share the gospel with people together as God opens up opportunities, praying or worshiping together, working out together, paying bills together. Okay, praying with one another could have been on it. Yeah, just sharing life with each other. It doesn't have to be like spiritual activities necessarily, just hanging out. That's what Jesus did with the 12 when he was discipling them. Okay, that's the first part, sharing life with them. And then there's also a teaching side, and hopefully you guys are not neglecting either one of these. Hopefully both parts are in there. You're not just getting together and teaching the Bible, teaching the command. Hopefully you do spend time with each other or can work that in to your relationship. If you don't, because that's has to be a part of it for it to be discipling. You have to share your life with them. And some of you guys, maybe you're stronger at sharing life, but you're weaker on the teaching side. Well, the teaching does need to be a part of it. So just use this to boost you up, strengthen you in any of the areas you're weak. But yeah, the teaching side, you don't have to teach them everything in the Bible. They already have pastors and their own Bible reading for that. But the special thing you should put your focus on for the year or two you have together with them is Jesus said, teach them, go disciple somebody. When you're discipling them, teach them to obey everything I have commanded. So that's just the stuff in the New Testament that are commands for our life. So I got some examples there, how to relate to authorities. It's Romans 13 has commands about that. How to pray, Matthew 6 and 7. Try to make it as secret as possible. That's like the principle, and you don't have to use a whole lot of words or be repeating yourself all the time. Just keeping it simple, discreet. That's some of the principles for prayer, Matthew 6 and 7. What to do when you come together for worship, 1 Corinthians 11, 10, 12. What to do when somebody mistreats you, Matthew 5. How to relate to older men or women, okay. Loving one another as I have loved you, John 15. How to relate to your wife and kids, 1 Timothy has a lot about that. So yeah, that should be a part of it, of your discipleship relationship, that teaching side, and hopefully it is. For the other four of you, Respect and I, we get together. Oh, well, we did. Now he's in college. We used to get together twice a week, once to just hang out and the other to do teaching time. So now that he's in Bethel, we just do the teaching time. But hopefully you have that balance in your relationship where you are just spending some time just hanging out, sharing life together. And then there's some time that you are saying, okay, let's sit down and let's learn some of these commands. And I'm just going to say on this commands, why you want that to be a part of the discipleship relationship is they can study the rest of their Bible for the rest of their whole Christian life. And yeah, they can get help from other people, and there's other people that are gifted teaching the Bible and all the doctrine. But this is their chance to go through the commands with you and ask you what this actually looks like in your life. The New Testament commands are great to be taught, not just through a seminar or a Sunday school class, but somebody that you have the ability to ask them, hey, what does this actually look like for you to do it? And when you share life with them, you get to see kind of how it actually works out in real life. So I encourage you, don't skimp on the commands. Don't just get together and do some general read through the Bible. Make sure Jesus said, put the focus on those New Testament commands. I've got two resources here. Again, this is the command index that I made. It has all the commands in the New Testament that apply to us. So you can basically, one idea would be pick one of your favorite books in the New Testament, and then use this index. This is organized by book of the Bible. So you could go to the book of 2 Corinthians, and you could just have in one paragraph, it'll tell you all the commands that are there in 2 Corinthians. And you could just go through those together. Or maybe your favorite book is Philippians. Well, instead of reading through the whole book of Philippians, you could read through the whole book, but you could use this to give you a heads up when you come across a command in the book of Philippians, and make sure you don't miss any of them, and those are there. And then, the dangerous thing is, as you're going through, I would challenge you younger guys, to Stephen and Josh, to ask Fred, ask Bob, and Respect, always feel free to ask me. All right, after they've explained to you what that command means, ask them, what does this look like? Like, how do you actually do this in your life? What does it look like? How has it kind of morphed its way into your personal life? What does this look like for you? So, for instance, 1 Timothy is a great book to read. I would encourage you guys with that one. He says, 1 Timothy 5:8, carefully think ahead for your family's best. Now, that's for those of you that, it's your immediate family, but carefully think ahead for their best. It's written to men. And so you guys could ask Bob, when do you take time to think ahead for your family? Or what does that look like in your life? Or Fred, what does that look like for you? There's another command there, 1 Timothy 5:4, show special respect to your relatives. There's a lot of people in the world that want our attention, and we do a lot of things at church, but how are the ways we show special respect to our relatives? What does that look like for you? And it could look, that's a great thing. The commands just give us principles, and you can apply it 1,000 different ways, and they can all be okay. God just wants us trying to apply those in some way, shape, or form. And so you could ask, Bob or Fred or Respect, you can ask, what's the way you put that into practice in your life? Solomon, Fred, Bob, How do you show special respect to your relatives? Because maybe you guys are stronger at serving and showing love to your church family members, but what do you do with your extended family to show them special respect? How does that look like as a Christian? So use the time that you get with these guys discipling you, and go through those commands and ask them tough questions. Not the tough ones, but make them bring it home to you. Make it practical so you can actually put these principles into your life. The goal of following Jesus is not to have the most Bible knowledge. The goal is to put the most of his principles into practice, to actually live our lives like he did. And the commands give us those parts of his life that he wants us actively working on, pursuing in our lives. So, yeah, all right. Hope that's some encouragement for you guys. Keep going. I still pray for a discipleship revival in our church family. I haven't taught, and obviously it's November now. I normally do a discipleship revival series. I don't think I'm doing that this year. I hadn't planned on doing it. I thought I'd just take a couple of years off with that. I've kind of planted the seeds out there. Do I wish more of our people were engaging in discipling a younger believer? Yes. One of my dreams, I would love to see every single older Christian in our church family be paired up with one younger believer for a year or two. We have probably 150 church members, MCF, TBC. Only 3 or 4 are paired up with a younger believer. I would love to see 70. I would love to see every single believer here have one younger believer that they're assigned to just love on, share life with, and teach the commands for a year or two. Again, it's not the only activity that's inspired by God. There's all these other activities, but I think our church already does all these other ones very well. This is the one I think we could really use some focus on, because like I said, only a few of our people are doing it. It takes more time than a lot of the other ones, but it's also the thing Jesus gave most of his time to. When you look at his life, he taught, he healed people, he sang songs, he went to church on Saturday, on Sabbath, but Monday to Friday, the biggest thing he was using his time for was discipling other people. So yeah, it does take more time and energy, but it's a part of his will for us as a church family, and I'd love to see that revival spread. But for now, you 3 are the strands. It's us 3, and we lift that little offering to God, and he can take 5 loaves and 2 fish and multiply it to feed 5,000 people. So he can take our 3 little discipleship relationships and use them for his glory. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing and enjoying it and learning, and as you have opportunities, encourage others. Naturally, as you have opportunities, encourage others to take the plunge and invite some younger believer into a discipleship relationship. I think that's how it started for the 3 of us. We asked the younger ones into a discipleship relationship, and also you younger ones, be thinking who you want to pass the baton to when you're done being discipled. And I would encourage you to be praying even right now that God would provide you somebody younger that you can disciple. Ask him to give you, to prepare some young guy's heart and incline their heart towards you, so that when you're done, you can disciple them. So, all right, I think I'm going to put Jimmy Scroggins' video on, and that should take us to the 21-minute mark, and we'll call it a day of that. Hopefully this has been a encouraging boost to you in your discipleship relationships, and if you've gotten off track a little bit, hopefully this has tightened some of the screws and say, all right, let's go. I know there's a lot going on in our church family, but let's not let go of the discipleship baton, because it is one of the batons Jesus wants us to run with, and especially since we're the only 3 strands doing it right now, we better not let go. All right, let me find Jimmy Scroggins here on Right Now Media. This is a 2-minute clip, and we'll end with that. Let's see, Jimmy Scroggins, discipleship. Okay, respect, you get a free pass. You can cut out because you already heard this one. So, make sure. All right, here we go.
Discipleship is the task that Jesus gave to the church. It's the task that Jesus gave to believers when he gave us the Great Commission. And so discipleship is not optional for us or for any church. Discipleship is mandatory. It is the command of the Lord to us as believers in this world. It's what the Holy Spirit is given to us to help us, to lead us, to guide us into doing. In order to make disciples that make disciples, though, it is a two-way street. You can invite people into relationship, you can invite people into friendship, but at some point that has to be reciprocated. The primary axiom that I've heard and that I repeat often is that you need to press into people that press into you. A lot of times people try to disciple people that don't want to be discipled by them. They try to influence people that don't want to be influenced by them. They try to make friends with people that don't want to make friends with them. Certainly we still need to serve, we need to love. But when it comes to discipleship, I just think it's easier and better and more effective to press into people that press into you. There are some people in your community, there's some people in your church, there's some people that you know that want to be around you, that want to learn from you, that want to be connected with you life on life. And those are the people that I would focus on. A lot of times we waste a lot of time chasing people we think would make great leaders. If only this guy or if only this lady, they're so powerful, they're so articulate, they're so wealthy, they're so well respected in the community, and so we chase the wrong people. You know, Jesus never chased those people. Certainly Jesus connected with some of them, but Jesus connected with the tax collectors and the sinners. That's who he was eating with, that's who he was drinking with, and that's who creates some of the most significant life change stories that we read about and celebrate and try to emulate from the New Testament. So I think pressing into people that press into you is an incredibly important principle for making disciples in the context of a church.
Adios, amigos.